Mary Sue McClurkin is an Alabama Republican lawmaker. She claims that a baby is the largest organ in a body. This is a real story. This is not an Onion story. I want to make that clear. Not an Onion story. Ms. McClurkin is pushing legislation that would impose restrictions on abortion clinics. She says this is necessary because the procedure is a major surgery that removes the largest organ in a human body. And she says when a physician removes a child from a woman, that is the largest organ in that body. That's a big thing. That's a big surgery. You don't have any other organs in your body that are bigger than that. Now, let's go... Let's break this down piece by piece, because I know some people who see this video or listen to this will say, you know, I think she's onto something there. Number one, the body is not an organ. A child is not an organ. Children have organs of their own, but a child is not an organ. But let's assume for a second that the child was an organ. She's wrong that it's even the biggest one. The average adult, of course, skin considered the largest human organ. Average adult has about 8 pounds of skin, which is a little bit more than the average weight of a baby. Now, I'm going way too deep here. These people are not going to analyze this on this level, Lewis. But it's funny when someone says something so absurd that ends up being wrong on multiple levels that even become comical.
Yeah, but you know, I think what she's trying to do is change the conversation a little bit. I mean, we've heard just about every ridiculous statement about babies and fetuses and
Right.
wombs, but this is a new one. I mean, I think they're always looking for the next thing.
Well, you know what's really funny? When we had that anti-gay debate on the show, Lewis, where we had two people who were anti-gay debate each other, and they both were anti-gay, but they thought the other person's reasons for being anti-gay were completely wrong. You remember that?
Right, of course.
The same thing is happening with this. The same thing is happening with this because, listen, remember those personhood bills that some right-wing Republicans are passing, which say that zygotes are people too, and therefore, whatever, it all kind of leads from that? This is kind of the opposite. This bill contradicts the personhood bills because this says this is not a person. This is an organ. A baby is an organ. At the same time, a zygote is a person. I don't think they're going to understand the irony of that, Natan.
I think this woman should just play the organ in her church and leave science and reality to the real people.
There is another organ-sized story here, which is that we've determined this Alabama state rep does not have a particularly large brain. That, I think, is really the biggest organ-sized story to come out of this.
Yeah, very strange stuff and contradictory to most of the things that we've heard from Republicans thus far.
They're laughing at us all over the world, Louis, because this type of person exists and is a lawmaker in this country.
I know. It's embarrassing.